Next up at UFC 295.
My favorite thing is that you immediately looked at the camera like, what's he going to do?
Well,
What's he going to do? Guys,
to
I'm very mature about this.
There you go. We have Tabatha Ricci taking on Lupita Godinez. Tabatha Ricci, 9-1 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. She's taking on Lupita Godinez, 11-3 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and she's coming off that submission win at UFC Noche. We do have a battle of the grapplers, if you will. Tabatha Ricci's a very good grappler. She takes her time, she settles into positions, and then she'll look for her submissions after that. She's very heavy on top, really good pressure and control. She's going to ground and pound when she's on top, and if you move a little too much, she'll make something happen. She is going to strike. She is going to shoot a bunch of takedowns. She's very, very strong, and she tries to use that strength in these fights. And outside of her UFC debut loss, which was up a weight class and short notice, she has looked very good in the UFC, most recently against Jillian Robertson, where it just wasn't even close who the better grappler was going to be. She's taking on Lupita Godinez. She's not necessarily a grappler. She's a wrestler, a very strong wrestler, good striking, clean boxing. She's got great setups for both the boxing and the wrestling. She's big for the weight class. That is obviously a relative term, but she's big for the weight class. She is also pretty strong. And she likes to come forward, work against the cage, grind out some takedowns, or stay on the outside and work in a whole bunch of striking. When she is firing on all cylinders, she can beat almost everybody in this division. The problem is she has proven to be a little bit inconsistent in the past, most notably that loss against Angela Hill, the way she barely beat Cynthia Calvillo and then was acting like it was domination. But since moving to the Alexa Grasso fight camp, she seems to have much more controlled, much more focused, comes forward, runs through people. What?
Lobo Jim. No. Not Globo Jim, but Team Lobo.
Yeah, I get that reference.
Globo Jim?
Yeah.
At Globo Jim, we're better than you, and we know it.
We get a lot of, I mentioned this in my Quick Picks video, we get a lot of DMs. Like, we got a pretty big social media presence. We get a good amount of DMs.
By the way.
And I've gotten a bunch on this card. One we'll talk about in the Pat Sabatini fight. I've gotten 2 or 3 messages about that. And then I've gotten a bunch about this fight. And I don't know if it's because people think Jacob's the one running the Instagram, but it's not. It's me. And when I say running, I mean posting things and replying to messages. But Tabatha Ricci seems to be the people's lock of the week. A lot of people are like, Tabatha Ricci's going to win this fight. Tabatha Ricci's going to run through Lupi. And frankly, if Lupita Godinez shows up and fights the way that she fought Angela Hill, Tabatha Ricci might beat her. But if the Lupi that we just saw shows up, she runs through Tabatha. Lupi is a phenomenal wrestler, like a very, very good wrestler. She's got very good clean boxing. And yet Tabatha Ricci's going to have the better jiu-jitsu, but her takedowns are just okay, and her striking is not. So now we have a very good wrestler taking on somebody that's got decent takedowns, and the striking difference is also in Lupi's favor. If Lupi fights like a weirdo, she will get taken down. She will lose this fight. But if her wrestling is what it's supposed to be, I think she wins this fight, and these odds are correct, but I'm certainly not spending the money. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I need everyone to listen to me and listen to me very, very clearly. Because as everyone knows, first of all, I love both of these females. They are both not only as far as like an attractiveness thing, but as literally as fighters, they are both very, very fun to watch. I've been all over Lupi since her debut. Even before kind of Ricci kind of came along, I was all over Lupi, saying that she can be a champion because she has the talent level to be a champion. And I sat here time and time again, every single fight, and said, oh, she's going to dominate because she's one of the best fighters in this division. She's going to be, and every single time I'm watching her fight, it's like, what are we doing, Lupi? What are we doing? For the longest time, it has been just wrestle. Just Lupi, just please, for the love of God, just wrestle. You can out-wrestle every single girl in this division, and you can be the champion. And she never committed to the wrestling. Finally, she goes to Team Lobo Jim. They get her straight. Diego Lopez is there. He's kind of the jiu-jitsu, but I think he's kind of running things. Alexa Grasso, they get the striking right. But they turned her into what she should be. And that is an aggressive striker leading to the dominant, powerful takedowns in the aggressive wrestling and grappling. And I'd love to see it in that matchup versus Elise Reed. I don't want to see any wrestling. I don't want to see any wrestling from Loopy. Yes, can she get the takedowns and the control? Absolutely, I can. Or absolutely, I believe that she can. She is the better wrestler in this matchup. But the best chance Ricci has, in my mind, is going to be when there's a takedown coming, to either sweep the positions once she's on the ground or use judo or some sort of toss. You even saw Elise Reed use a judo toss, a throw to get Loopy down momentarily. Loopy scrambled, got the top position. We'd love to see that type of stuff. But Ricci's best chance is going to be if the fight goes to the ground in a scramble, something of that nature. Because Ricci, for as good as she is in the jiu-jitsu, and she's okay in the wrestling and okay in the judo as well, her striking is very lackluster. She's a volume striker with no real power, and she can get hit by pretty much anyone. Loopy is going to have the power advantage. She's going to have a major striking advantage. Just get in her face. Just touch her up. Don't overextend yourself with the striking, because sometimes Loopy can load up a little bit. Don't overextend yourself in the striking to where Ricci can get a takedown, but just keep touching her. Just jab. Tabatha Ricci is a very hittable girl, and there's not going to be much power coming back your way. Just touch her, wear her down. That's exactly what Manon Farrow did. I know it was an up and weight in UFC debut for Ricci, but you just touch her, you break her down. Then the wrestling won't be as effective as she tries to use it. Loopy should be better everywhere. I'm very confident in her in this matchup. I love Ricci. She is going to beat every single person that she can out-wrestle. And unfortunately, I don't think she can out-wrestle Loopy, but she can definitely make it close. This is Loopy's fight. I mean, this is, like, as you mentioned, if she shows up the way she should honestly dominate. But if she doesn't, starts messing around, things will get weird.
Yeah, her takedown defense is solid at 82%. And I agree, she doesn't need to offensively wrestle, but she's definitely going to need to defend takedowns because Tabatha will shoot. So,
right.
Here's to hoping. I don't have any money on this fight, though, so it actually doesn't matter.
I like, if you can listen to me pick again. If I'm picking against Ricci, guys, that's what I want to. I mean, because I love Ricci. She is.
I hear you.
She is a ball of sunshine. There's no doubt about that. So if I'm picking against her, if I can put my bias aside, that's pretty big.
This is going to be tough to overcome when you guys are. When she starts responding to DMs and somebody sends her
it's going to be, this is what's going to happen here in 8 years, right? After we already had an established relationship, maybe a couple kids or whatever, we're going to have a little bit of a spat in the kitchen. And all of a sudden she's going to put on speakerphone this breakdown right here and be like, oh, remember when you picked against me? And I'll be like, oh, shit.
Well, everybody keeps saying it's a reverse jinx and you're just doing this to will it.
When this fight was announced, obviously I was heartbroken because I am a fan of both of them, and I want them both to do well. And when this was announced, I was like, oh no, Ricci. Oh no.
Well, $7,500 in DraftKings. If you, there are a lot of people on the Tabatha Ricci side, a lot of people, and mostly just because of consistency issues with Lupita, which is
tough too, yeah.
Those are valid concerns. She does have consistency issues.
Lobo, it's changed her.
Well, and she looked phenomenal in her last fight. And the consistency issues aren't necessarily – it's not like she's not a quitter. It's not consistency like is she going to quit? Is she not going to quit? She's not a head case. She just doesn't do the things she's supposed to do, which is very different than like, I'm not in the mood to fight. I'm going to turn my head and just quit. But it'll be an interesting fight. I'm actually looking forward to it. And this does have like a meaningful impact on the division. Because both of them are on streaks, both of them are beating people, and they're sort of moving up in the right direction. I don't know if I'm going to spend the $8,700 in DraftKings. I think there's money better spent on this card, but certainly looking forward to this fight. If you want to see all the picks, the bets, the insight, the data, the analytics, everything you could ever want, WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. It's only $10 a month. That's going to get this event and every other event in that month period.
And we have to make a point, too, that might not have just been Loopy acting that way in fights. That could be literally game planning from her coaches. That could be literally the whole camp was designed on this is how you're going to fight, and it was just a wrong game plan. So being at a new camp, I think she's that's a really good camp for her. She seems really happy there too.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. What's funny is somebody said Jacob can't stand up right now for obvious reasons, right?
I wish.
And then this dude, who I think he called me fat about 11. He called me fat about 11 times. Is he in a wheelchair?
Not yet.
This dude, nonstop attacking me, turns out doesn't have any sense of humor and doesn't get jokes. It's nice to win one. It's nice to win one.